WAOH is brought to you in part by Ohio's #1 trusted real estate team, The Young Team. Online at theyoungteam.com.
Today, I get to talk with Bernie Kosar. I am so thrilled to have him in the studio with us on Good Morning Akron. He really needs no introduction, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, just if you've been living underneath a rock. Quarterback from high school to a national championship with the University of Miami, 12-year NFL career, including a Super Bowl ring, and legendary quarterback, of course, for our Cleveland Browns. How are you today?
Sarah, awesome to be with you. Thank you for swelling up my cranium this morning.
Thank you so much for being here with us, because I know that it has been a week for you and you've been through some stuff. And so you're here with us, and I'm so thankful that you're here, and we're going to chat a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I love this time of the year. The end of summer, football is in the air.
Yes.
Training camp is going on. Fall practice, 2-a-days, preseason games, scrimmages at the high school level, high school football starting next week with the real games. I'm loving what I'm seeing from our Cleveland Browns to be quasi-healthy enough to be doing some of that stuff, being here this morning, despite being ready to be called any day for a liver transplant, to have had surgery yesterday morning, to have another surgery probably tomorrow morning or Friday morning, to be told 7 years ago, you have 5 years left of cognitive brain function, to not be able to say cognitive like we had talked about, to not be able to enunciate, articulate, communicate really any multiple syllable words. No way to be able to stand up here on TV and talk and enunciate like this. So to be able to do this despite all these health challenges, I don't say it to be proud or cocky or sell, but so many of us are somewhat masking some of our injuries, some of our anxieties, some of our weaknesses now, especially us men. And I've worked.
It's easy to do, especially I feel like in American culture. American men are kind of taught, not every person, but you're kind of taught to like cover up the things that are going wrong.
Yeah, mask your feelings. Men don't have feelings. Men don't cry.
Right.
Suck it up. You know, and young boys out there, not correct at all.
No.
And for somebody who had to mask it or thought he had to mask it when he was younger, and the ramifications and consequences aren't at all helpful nor healthy for you. So as I kind of go through that, and you and me had kind of talked about, and I'm proud to be in this area, and I do You Matter a lot, and I don't do it because of the University of Miami, but so believe today in this kind of sensitive time frames that we're living in, that so many people don't have the self-confidence and self-esteem that they really need. Mm-hmm. And especially us men, or even myself, trying to come here today, represent, be cool, try to look like I got my act together. A lot of times we're masking it, and as men, it's okay sometimes to feel like that. And then finding some healthy ways to release and to deal with that. So me being able to kind of find ways to do it and then open up about it, to show guys that they have options. And, you know, I do You Matter from the University of Miami that taught me the self-confidence, self-esteem. I work a lot with Altman Hospital here.
Okay.
And Altman they do an amazing job of caring about people. And they're kind of, one of their mission statements is You Matter.
Yeah.
And I started with them years ago, and I challenge us men because we don't even see the doctor. You know?
That is so true.
We don't want to talk. I mean, I love my father. He may see this, okay? But I was raised, and I love the history and tradition of Northeast Ohio. I love my Slovak roots. I love my Northeast Ohio roots. But the eating kielbasa and pierogi for breakfast is why the Kosar men die at 65 of stomach cancer. There's things that you're able to do. And I grew up, I loved it, toughened me up. It made me ready to deal with these type issues. But growing up where men drink whiskey, men don't eat greens, men don't drink water, men drink beer, men drink whiskey, men don't cry, men eat meat. Please don't perpetuate this generational scarring. So if we could maybe say it's okay to, look, I had
be softer.
be softer. We're human. And
human beings.
yeah, so it's like that. I'm not a bad word, because this morning I had an alkaline watered celery juice with carrot and ginger in it with my raw coffee powder and plant-based pea protein. So such things like that, if you skip out the cinnamon roll and the pastries and the piece of pizza that was laying on the table, it really amplifies your health and wellness. And I kind of say that because that was what I initially started to delay some of this cognitive aging decline that we're all fighting off right now. And thankfully, again, tend to really want to be positive. And I think in spirituality and positivity, you create positive things, but also not just wanting to say it to be positive. When you do these type of functional things, yeah, you absolutely feel better cognitively and more present, but it absolutely has prepared me to get through what I'm about to undertake in terms of this transplant.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm thinking about food, and I know for some people, you're saying, okay, we need to eat better for our brain, for our bodies. What would you say if someone's watching and they just feel kind of overwhelmed by that? What would you say is like the very first step that they can take? And because we want to encourage people to actually start doing this stuff. And I don't think they're probably not going to go out and do that list of things that you had for breakfast right away.
Right.
Because
So it sounds complex.
Right.
Okay. It sounds really, really hard to do. And then again, as men, I was told men don't cook. Men don't go in the kitchen. Men don't clean dishes. Men don't put stuff away.
Right.
So wrong.
So
God almighty, is that wrong? But
put away your dishes.
In turn, I became and developed, as a lot of men, a phobia within the kitchen.
Right.
So I'm mortified to turn on the stove, to cook an egg, to try a steak. So it's almost idiot proof. When I say what I did for breakfast this morning with a Vitamix, me, the most incompetent human there is in terms of being lost in the kitchen and being lost with maintenance and electrical gizmos and stuff. Okay, putting 4 or 5 chunks of celery, 4 or 5 carrots, alkaline water, and ginger in a Vitamix, and it is not the pretty juices. This is your chunky soup, okay? Because we're flushing and detoxing with the raw coffee powder. And I'm really blessed with. I mentioned Altman Hospital and some of the stuff that All Care and they do with me. I'm at University Hospital getting the transplants in Cleveland. A lot of the doctors there have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I also worked a lot with Dr. Michael Roizen at the Cleveland Clinic and Dr. Oz. And those two, between what Dr. Roizen really believes in and his studies on roasted coffee, and roasted coffee being the number one thing to flush and detox your liver and brain. And for the people out there listening, I am that person that is against the ultra-processed fast food. I know it's hard. I know it's hitting us with marketing.
Right.
We're all busy. It's right there. It is convenient. And the chemicals and preservatives in those foods, long-term, are hurting us.
Yeah.
And actually short-term now. So one, trying to mitigate that, but that's massively hard to do. So instead of fighting that all the time, I am really fixated on the flushing and detoxing.
Okay.
And when Dr. Roizen and some of the stuff that Dr. Oz used to do with his green tea and the extraction of the chlorogenic acid, and this gets a little too deep into the microbiome studies that are going on at University Hospital, and I'm a trustee at the University of Miami, so I'm blessed to be in their medical school, so I have a really good trilogy of researchers that are doing this, so it's just not me pulling it out of my backside.
No, it's actually from research.
Yeah, so
and that makes sense that you would need to detox, especially if you are eating some of those processed foods.
Yeah, so wanted to flush and detox this, and then for me is cirrhosis of the liver, old man with early stage Parkinson's and dementia. I'm supposed to always be tired, always be nappy, always be cognitively a little slow. There's typically a 2 to 4 second delay in my ability to answer a question and articulate. So how do you mask those symptoms.
Right.
So one of the things that, again, Dr. Roizen and I believe Oz with this roasted raw coffee now. So I've taken it to the raw coffee. It flushes the microplastics and sugar out of me.
Oh, okay.
While giving me energy. So
Yes.
I'm borderline too chatty. You can't talk too much. But as a guy with the issues I'm wrestling with, and if you'd have saw some interviews with me 10 years ago, where I could barely get
Right.
6 words out. So being able to, do these healthy stuff.
Yeah, use
And
healthy.
and again, I don't pull this out as a prop or a stage, but
Right.
I wasn't even planning on doing it. But this Focaceuticals, so I taking capsules of basically raw coffee and black rice extract, okay, and it flushes the microplastics. Unfortunately, we take about a credit card a month or two in our body
Of microplastics.
of microplastics.
Wow, that's amazing. I've recently heard about that, and I've heard of these different things that can help to flush those out. So that's one thing that can help.
Yeah, so I mean, those type things to flush and detox, to take the plaque buildup, the microplastics out of the body, and then selfishly, it's self-need for me. I need to do it to get it out of my brain, to cognitively be present, to be able to
do things like this.
Do things like this, and actually have a quality of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, other than the food, I know that you have done other things for brain health. What other things would you recommend for other people who are thinking, I need to get my brain in a healthier place?
So there's a few steps, and there's a few more, and I'm a big believer in IV therapy. Okay, so you do a supplement, a vitamin, 8 to 12% absorb into your cell and cell membrane. You do an IV, 100% get into the blood and bloodstream. But again, us men, we're pretending to be tough. None of us like needles, so we avoid things like that. Okay, so there's another level of things that you do, and we've massively been studying. So I use the phrase, I used to have unhealthy habits. So I now use the phrase healthy habits. And I'm older than you, and growing up, it used to be a 1-a-day vitamin was the marketing pitch. And all of us, I wish it was just like a pop one vitamin. Just take one raw coffee capsule and that would be it. But really, taking consistency and replacing your unhealthy habits with healthy habits. So, when you start with your food, I would recommend people just start there with your food, with flushing and detoxing, with the Focaceuticals, with the raw coffee powder, plant-based pea protein. How could you go wrong with protein and plant-based like that? So being able to do kind of a simple things in good water, which is sometimes easier said than done with forever chemicals and things like that.
And you were saying you use alkaline water, and I know people can get that at most of their health food stores.
Yeah, so cancer cannot live in an alkaline environment. So if you have cancer, easier said than done, sugar's massively your enemy. If you have cognitive decline, sugar's your enemy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
change the way you eat.
You have to change and alter and
so important.
And reduce that stuff. So we know that cancer feeds off of that, of sugar. So if you could put it in an alkaline environment, it's a positive. It gives you that percentage positive.
Absolutely. All right, so just replace I want to make it simple for people as they're watching. Replace those eating habits.
Yes.
Love that. Get yourself some alkaline water. Get the raw coffee capsules, and we're going to put up a link for that.
Yes.
What else would you recommend?
And then I do a peak charge. It's a protein powder with the raw coffee in that. And then it gets a little too much depth. I'd be happy to talk about it if you have more time and stuff. But I really recommend for the young parents out there that one of the things that I'm doing, never give your kids cortisone shots. Old people, don't get them. It's a precursor to 9 months later to 18 months later, you will be getting surgery and in pain. Calcifies the area. But there are things, if you're a young parent or a grandparent, with freezing your umbilical cord, your cord blood, your placenta. There's a massive amount of research. The stuff that makes us beautiful people in our mother's womb. Unfortunately, as I get the buildup, I appear pregnant. But the stuff that makes us in our mother's womb is massively being studied by some incredible people in terms of the regenerative principles of that. And that's some of the stuff that's also been adding to my recovery.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, let's kind of finish up with just some words of wisdom for our community here in Akron and Cleveland. Give them just talk to, let's talk to young Bernie Kosar. Let's talk to young 15-year-old Bernie Kosar. What would you say to him? What would you want to encourage him in? Let's finish up.
Wow, thank you for teeing me up like that. You know, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about some of the great coaches I had, and to have Howard Snellenberger, Don Shula, Jimmy Johnson 3 times, Marty Schottenheimer, Bill Belichick, Bud Carson. They had phrases like, how you do little things is how you do all things. Let the mind control the body, not the body control the mind.
Wow.
And you positive thinking and really thinking of, you could almost can create your happiness, and you absolutely can create amplified pain. So really, the starting with some of the positiveness of that is something I really would recommend for people to do.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously that goes with brain health, right? It's like the food, and then also having those positive thoughts,
right, and then
go together.
And then also, like, you could see the theme I talked about a lot through the course of it. If I'm the young Bernie Kosar, again, I'm not picking on the old men who, and not just my dad, all you old men. When I was the young Bernie Kosar, said, you gotta drink, you gotta have whiskey, you can't drink greens, don't eat vegetables, don't have a salad, have a whiskey and dessert and try to sleep with you, I mean, it's like nothing about it was
healthy.
Right and healthy.
And wise.
And like, I knew as a scarred Catholic that something was wrong about that, but I didn't have the courage to say that.
Yeah.
So if young people are watching, young moms, you could yell at your husband about it. Young husbands, don't be respectful to us old men who are telling you the completely wrong thing, but be secure that you're going to be okay. I turned out okay, and I masked being insecure, and I'm on look at this, as a guy who's on the spectrum, autism runs in our family.
Okay,
so having a couple of nephews who are kind of a function oral autistic, and that to be a guy who can't be a leader of men and have a young Bernie Kosar can't have 53 guys in the locker room following me if they think I'm an anxiety-ridden, afraid, admitting some of the things that I admit today. So you put up a shield. So a lot of us young people, and unfortunately, I'm not going to say just us, the young Bernie Kosar, I see a lot of us old guys, our shields are still up. And hopefully you guys, all of us, we could find some people in our lives, and hopefully you could be some of the people that were able to share these things. That if I let my shield down, if you let your shield down, you don't eat me.
Yeah.
Because right now, in the past, people have been super hard on other people who admit to stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know. So true. Thank you for admitting.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time. I mean, you literally had surgery yesterday, and we'll have surgery tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm glad we're using
I'm
glad we're using the 3.5-4 foot rule, because I haven't really changed since the last surgery. So
I'm so thankful that you were able to make it here and just be here with me. I really appreciate it. And I'm hoping that someone watches this and they can do just what you just said. A wall can be broken down. Yeah. Maybe they start eating a little bit healthier. Maybe they feel like they can get themselves into the kitchen. Maybe they feel like they can talk to someone about their issues that they're having. And so that's the big point of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You matter.
Appreciate it. You matter. And we'll tag all of your information and your website and social media and all that. We'll get all that up for people to follow you and your journey, and praying for your surgery.
Well, thank you. And I do challenge you to not just follow me because it's attention and clicks, or I need to, still feel like I'm the young Bernie Kosar.
Right.
But I'm on to something, and it's just not selling. I'm on to something that really is helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's not really hard to do. So people think what I'm doing is hard. It's actually easy. and easier than what
They would
I
think.
was doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you,
Thank you.
Bernie. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bernie Kosar. I'm so happy to have him on the show this morning. Make sure you stay tuned. We've got more great stuff coming up next.